Hey roofers, and welcome to Roofer Growth Hacks, a podcast that's dedicated to highlighting those in the roofing industry, learning how they overcame growth challenges with creative growth hacks, and connecting them with others in the roofing industry. I'm your host, Chris Hunter, founder and chief marketing officer of roofingsites.com. I'm also the author of The Ultimate Guide to Digital Marketing for Roofers. Got a little story for you. James Hatfield is the Chief Revenue Officer at LiveSwitch, a company that's revolutionizing the contracting industry with a very unique product. James is extremely passionate about leveraging innovative video communication tools to help businesses grow in today's digital landscape. So listen up as James shares some awesome growth hacks. Well, awesome, James. Thank you so much for joining us on Roofer Growth Hacks. We really, really appreciate you coming on. And I know that you and I've talked before, and I'm super pumped about this episode right here.
Me too.
Awesome. All right. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, tell us a little bit about your company, and how you're helping people.
Yeah. Well, I'm currently the Chief Revenue Officer for a company by the name of LiveSwitch, and we focus in on live video, which is incredibly difficult, and we're disrupting all different kind of home services across the world. But how I got here, I never would have thought I've been here, because you're talking to a guy who ran painting and power washing companies, and I turned tech nerd somehow. But you never know what you're going to be when you grow up, right?
Yeah, exactly. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your painting company first, and then how you transitioned into where you're at now.
Yeah, so they always say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? So my grandfather didn't even get to graduate high school. His dad died young, and he was the oldest in the household, so he had to drop out of school and go get a job at a tire shop and put food on the table. That's a big ask for a 16-year-old, right? But ended up, he got really good working with his hands, built his own homes. My father built his own house as well. His dad died young. I don't know what's going on with some of our fathers here, but my father was also coming up from nothing. And, their big dreams for me was, my grandfather's like, James, I want you to paint the highway. My dad was like, I want you to be a plumber. So I went with the painting side, and I was like, maybe not the highway, but I'll paint residential and commercial. So that's what I did after graduating high school. Built businesses and had multiple crews, and that's how I paid my way and took care of my own self and got out of my family's wallet, which, what I'm always trying to do with my kids, get out of my wallet. But, from there, I felt like, hey, I really need to understand my numbers, and I'm good at painting, good at running, good at leading, good at selling, but I could not make heads or tails of my numbers. So I went back to state school, and back then college was affordable. And so just went and got accounting. I went to go accounting. I went where I was weak, right? And then when I graduated, I had a partner, and he's had a landscaping company, and he was graduating from Duke University. I was at NC State, so we're here in the Raleigh area. And he put together an expert system for financial. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, every small business owner needs it. And that we started in a small little incubator. We went Inc. 500, and now we sold to KKR. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. And so that was our first jump from home services into technology. In that case, we're one of America's first financial technology companies in the country. So I'm dating myself a little bit.
No, that's all right. That's super cool. So what are you doing now? What is your product? What is LiveSwitch?
Yeah, well, we were doing philanthropy for a while. So I went into planting churches, and my partner went into inmates to entrepreneurs, teaching incarcerated men and women how to run their own businesses, because people don't like to hire people with a record. Yeah. But he reaches back out. He's like, James, let's go for another round and build another billion-dollar company. And it took me a while to get there, because I know what it takes to, but we decided, hey, instead of starting from scratch, let's buy a company this time. So we found a company, 14-year-old company at the time, purchased the company, kept all the founders, and had a bunch of computer scientists, and it was, again, in technology. I don't know how I keep ending up in tech, but anyway, it specializes in technology called WebRTC. I don't expect anyone to know what that is. It's web real-time communication, and it's only one of 4 companies in the world that really does it. And so we were taking care of all different kinds of things, and one of the things that we were doing is reinventing the 911 phone call with the chief of police in Washington, D.C., because everyone has these beautiful cameras on their phones now. And now police officers, we can just tap right into the phone, tap right into the cameras, and stream that live video to the police car. It's called situational awareness, next generation policing. And we're like, well, who else could use this kind of stuff where you don't need an app, you just, send a text, connect, and boom. And we just started talking to some of our investors and close relationships. And one of my guys is our investors like is in the Hall of Fame of self-storage. And he's like, you should come and disrupt self-storage. I'm like, I don't know anything about that. And in my ignorance, I started calling companies that said moving and storage on it to kind of learn more.
Yeah.
Storage, moving and storage is warehousing. It's not like self-storage. And I
Yeah.
met this really serious guy in the moving industry of all industries, moving boxes. But he puts on these big conferences and I'm showing him my stuff for the emergency response. And he's like, James, you have no idea what you've got. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm going to use, he's like, the most expensive thing I do is put one of my hourly guys, my sales guys in a truck, have them burn up gas and, wear and turn the vehicle, drive out in the hopes to get money. Sometimes people are just price checking me. It's really expensive. He's like, I'm just going to use this for my virtual estimating or my pre-estimates. Before I roll a truck out, I want to see if someone's serious and they've got the money, before I put my sales guy in the car. Or if I can, I'll just close it virtually. And I was like, that's a good idea. And I'm like, I should have thought of that. Like, I'm the painter power. But sometimes, your customers have the answer to the test if you're really listening. And he was so right. And that happened 2 years ago. And then bam, I'm on stage and next week in Orlando talking about, how this is disrupting all kinds of home services from plumbing to HVAC to roofing to you name it. And it just keeps getting momentum. It's been exciting to watch. And what's most exciting is listening to our home service owners, and salespeople that are using it every day. And so that's how we, ended up where we are.
Man, this has been super cool. But one thing that's been floating around in my mind is like the technology comes out and we try to introduce it into roofing companies. They don't quite get it or anything like that. So how do you have something in your company that helps, especially these roofers, figure this technology out, integrate it into their business or anything like that?
Yeah, two things. One, we make this dead simple. Like I said, if you can send a text, you can learn to do this, and I can teach you in 2 minutes how to do it. That's one. But
nice.
Two, we talk to so many business owners every single day. What we do at LiveSwitch is we assign a LiveSwitch project manager to you. All right. Mm-hmm. No extra money. Don't worry. We're not nickel and diming you. That's just cruel. All right. And their job, because we're talking to so many owners, is to give you ideas. Right. And we always talk about crawl, walk, run. Crawl, let's just get a few things that work, that make sense for you and your business, and let's get that going. Then we start walking, and now you're weaving in more, and then you're running, and you're doing all kinds of stuff. But we really try to make it meet you where you're at, where you know your customer best, your team best, and then my project managers, their job is to train and to make sure you're on the cutting edge of that, and we keep an eye on you, basically.
Love that. Because it's hard. And you talked about this earlier, integrating a new technology or software or something into your business. But if you've got someone there to help you, that's even better. Yeah.
Yeah. My goal is to be the easiest software of any software you've ever used, and hold me accountable to that.
Love it. Absolutely love that. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So why don't you tell me a little bit about how roofers are using it, right, in order to do that virtual sales piece?
Yeah. So a lot of it is either to close somebody online or to do a pre-estimate where you're trying to see if someone's serious. Because go check your record and see how many times a robot, because everyone has these chat bots now, has closed a sale for you. I'm going to guess it's probably 0.
Yeah.
Unless you're lucky. Because we know a human face builds trust. And when someone's about to spend a bunch of money or get the insurance company to spend a bunch of money in roofing, they want to have a trusted advisor, because you don't get your roof done every day, right? In fact, you might do it once and then you hope to never do it again, right? So this is, and then it's one of those like deferred maintenance. I'll get it next year. I'm telling you what your listeners know. But what we're trying to do is when somebody's on your website, and you might even have some of the new technology that people can put in their address, take a picture satellite, and then they're choosing high grade, mid, and low grade, and then get your price. Well, now we're adding a button right on your website where a person, like maybe they have I don't know if I don't buy roofs ever. How am I supposed to know what I need? Click a button, up pops live video of your salesperson. Say, hey, looks like you're trying to figure out what grade roof you'd like. Tell me about the project. And now they see a person, they connect with a person immediately. So that's just one mode of 7, In other modes, someone's calling you up, right? They fill out a form. We all got it. They got your phone number on your website and you got your fill out form, don't you? We all have that.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
You know, if you
absolutely.
don't, you're going to have it because you
Mm-hmm.
have to.
Mm-hmm.
So now when that call comes in, person's like, well, I'm thinking about getting my roof done. And you know what they did? They went to Google and said, roofers near me. So you're
Yep.
already on a list. Don't think
Right.
you're special because you ain't. No one's special. They're just going and looking for 5 stars. And they call, right? Now, what you can do with this tech is send an immediate text and say, hey, look, let me send a text and go ahead and tap on it. And now without an app, your salesperson is immediately connected to that prospect in a video warm call. And that's where you can do a pre-estimate where you're seeing if they're serious, right? You're seeing if they're tire kickers, seeing if what's going on, what's prompting it. You're deciding if you want to roll the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe the person, like, you're already bid number 5. They just price check me. I've seen your 5 stars. Like, I need it done tomorrow. Actually, insurance already approved it. Well, close the dang deal right there.
Yeah.
You want to see a happy salesperson? That's a salesperson that didn't have to drive out and that got the money. And they did it right from the comfort of the office or at home, right?
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, what it comes down to is we never had all these fancy cameras on these fancy phones. Now they give you one of these when you're born, right? Like, here's your cell phone. Welcome to the world. You know, we're tapping into that now. That's what we're doing. And it's called speed to lead.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I mean, we all know any contractor that's listening to this, you know, you have to be fast on everything these days, right? Any kind of lead coming in from the internet, and I coach this all the time with clients, is that you have to be on it. I mean, this sounds next level right here.
Yeah, it is next level. It's speed to lead. Like, we just watched the Super Bowl, right? Those wide receivers that are out there, I bet they're judged on their speed. I bet when you watch the Olympics, they're judged on their speed. Why not in business? Are you not judged on your speed? People like to pound, oh, we're 6 weeks, booked out, and I can't get out there for 6 weeks. That's stupid. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That means go hire some more people. You got more money. Like, what are you doing? Unless you're just up to your eyeballs, because no one's going to wait 6 weeks. Like Amazon. No. Amazon. How many Amazon Prime members we got listening right now? Most everybody.
Probably everyone.
Yeah. Everybody. Why? Why? You want your package immediately.
Yeah.
We don't like to wait in line. I don't want to wait for anything. I got my money. I want it now, and I want it awesome. That's what your customer expects of you, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, that's the customer demand. So now you've got to arm yourself to meet that demand, and this is what it comes down to. Like, I want to be so fast and separate myself and get my quality sales team or myself as an owner looking eyeball to eyeball and making human connection with somebody as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Because we've all had this happen. Previously, they call in, I can be out there tomorrow. Sounds good. What time? 2 p.m. And by the way, people don't like to have to miss work to come and meet you as much as cool as you are. They don't want to. I got 4 kids. I'm trying to drop my kids. I'm not trying to wait around for a date with a roofer.
Yeah.
Not sorry, guys. Like, this is just welcome to the world, Yeah. And then what happens? You call day of, hey, I'll be out there at 2 p.m. Oh, don't worry about it. I already had a guy come yesterday. We're all set. Because that person came the day before you. You booked the day out. Oops. Right. Speed to lead.
Yeah, speed to lead and speed to sale. I mean, you combine LiveSwitch with, Roofle or Eagle Eye or anything like that, I mean, you could get quotes. You could just the speed to sale at this point is amazing and available right now,
And the technology you have at your fingertips, now it's satellite pictures. Like, tell me why you need to go out there, unless, now, let me be clear. This is not 100% guaranteed you do it every time. This is either for your pre-call or if someone's already hot to trot, you get them. But it allows you to connect. Now you've made that human connection and then get your butt out there as fast as possible because they want you up on that roof to see if they got insurance that can take care of this or you need to take a look for extra pieces and extra upsells. Like, hey, you want to replace some of these molded boards and all the things that we do to upsell people. And, you can still do that, but it might be a great 1-2 punch. Now, the other thing, we're just talking about selling. We haven't even talked about operations. We haven't even talked about customer testimonials or before and after. You're going to find place for video everywhere. And as a business owner, I want my eyes on everything. We're going to get you eyes on everything. Eyes on the project, eyes on your team, eyes on your operational guys and installers. see things you've never seen before because you just didn't use video. Now you can see it, and you have more ability to train, coach, and uplift all across. Whether it's, hey, this is how we close, or hey, this is how we take care of the customer. Hey, this is how we clean up the job site. Hey, this is how we cover our backside on damage we did not do because I don't want a claim. I'm taking care of a claim. I don't need to get a claim while I'm taking care of somebody's roofing claim.
Right.
It weaves in everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it for onboarding, in training and just immediate, because here's the other deal, right? All right. And think about this on the HR side of things, right? Is I hear all the time how hard it is to find the right people and all that kind of stuff, right? But what if you had a way that you can instantly interview someone, or at least pre-interview them? Because hiring is the same thing with sales. Speed to hire, right, is a huge deal. If you've got a rock star on the line, on the fishing line metaphor there, you want to reel them in. And the fastest way to do that would be through video.
And also think about if you're in the high rent district, if you're in downtown area, and you start to weave in virtual selling and hybrid selling, you can hire people in low cost areas of the country or the world. There are incredible salespeople outside and you can don't just watch your top line. Now we're watching your bottom line, right? And it's hard to hire, isn't it? Like we bang our heads against the wall to get quality hires. And but if you open up your ability to hire people anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, now you can get really competitive and thoughtful, right? So this is called a hybrid team, right? You're going to have your boots on the ground team, but you're also going to have your global team. And you can think a little bigger. You just haven't had this until now, all right? It's not that we just didn't have the tools to get the job done, right? And now we do. And so we can start to leverage that. And same for your project managers, right? Who are managing multiple jobs. Well, there's guys already on the roof. Here's the thing. They can be on one job. A guy could be on another job on top of a roof and whip out their phone and video show the project manager what they're seeing. Yeah. And that project manager, guess what, guys? You never have to get on the roof again. I had a guy from Extended Stay Hilton. He's like, I'm never getting on a roof again. I was sitting in my truck. And I'm going to make my 1099 guys or my other guys get up on the roof like I used to do when I was a young buck. Not for me. I'm going to be down here in my truck on my tablet, and they can show me from their phone what's going on. So, it weaves in everywhere. You're going to have your mind's going to be racing now.
Yeah, it already is. I mean, you and I talked a couple of weeks ago about this, and my mind's been going the entire time about your product and how I could use that to help my roofers out, right? But so the biggest possibility here in my mind, and I love your idea that you just said there, is hiring people in lower, economic areas, okay, that have internet access. Obviously, that's kind of a basic there, that could handle this type of, interaction, that's good at sales, those types of things. But what if you massively started expanding your business, right, from one area to the next, and you don't have to have as many boots on the ground?
That's right. And also extending your serviceable area, right? There's probably neighborhoods that you would love to work, but you're like, I just don't go out there because my sales team doesn't want to drive. Yeah. Right. But if you won the business, I'm sure well, that's different, right? Like, hey, we'll drive a little extra if the business is already won, right? So you might draw circles around neighborhoods that you want, contact your marketing, folks and say, hey, I want this neighborhood, and then canvas it, and you can even we have QR codes to video. You can put QR codes on the flyers where people can just scan it and instantly video connect with that sales team.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the good stuff.
Just imagine the time saved on that too. Just that and that alone. I've got a client that when we first started working together, he was in the process of setting up a new office in another service area. He ended up not doing that and not communicating that to us. So his techs were driving out 100 miles, 150 miles. They get to the house and no one was there. They didn't tell them, hey, by the way, we found somebody else. So they took that time to drive 2 hours out and 2 hours back. Just imagine the saved time with LiveSwitch. That's
right. Yeah. Just in validation, right? Like a pre-call is everything. When I can see stuff, you can see your customer, see their house.
Yeah.
Stuff, you've parked your car in front of a house before and you're like,
Yeah.
I don't even know why I'm walking in the door. I know this ain't gonna work. Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
getting eyes, even it's just you got to be smart with your time.
Hmm.
If you're going to start expanding and doing some of these things, now you're going to be a little more selective. You're not
Yeah.
going to take every job because you have volume,
Right.
right? Now you're
Right.
going to be like, I only work this neighborhood, this neighborhood, this neighborhood, and this neighborhood, and then this
Yeah.
commercial area. And that's where
Yeah.
I'm going to spend all my marketing dollars. So I'm going to get all my cash, and then that's where I'm going to get all my referrals and my, repeat business.
Hmm. So I know and all of this is great, as we're talking about this, but I know that you told me a couple of weeks ago about a roofer in Florida that's been using this. Can you kind of tell us what his results have been on that?
Yeah. So we have a channel. So here we have project managers that help you implement this with your team. So
Hmm.
we're doing the training, the follow up. We're just making sure everything's going well. And every now and then someone stops from, they tell us a story, right? And
Yeah.
this guy, I met him. He was actually a school teacher for a long time, and some stuff just kept happening at the high school where he's like, I can't do this anymore. So he transitioned, and he's an older fella, and he's like, I'll just go sell. So he started selling for a roofing company and crushed it. He's like,
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna now make my own company. So he went off on his own in two years ago, got some more folks, and his things, I want to be the Colonel Sanders of roof, and I want this face everywhere. He's a great guy, and so I'm showing him our stuff, and he's like, oh, this is fantastic. I want it. So him and his business partner bought it and trained it. And the first weekend they used it,
Hmm.
his sales guy was like, this thing is life changing for me. He's like, on Sunday, I didn't have to drive around and I did all of my bids virtually and I got to still see my family and I still
Wow.
did great. Like this stuff is
Wow.
life changing for me and my family. And not just for the customers and speed to
Yeah.
lead, but like for your team,
Yeah.
like giving them an extra. I had a guy who's like, James, I'm getting 2 hours back every day with my 2-year-old daughter
Yeah.
because of this stuff, just because I'm not having to drive out every time. I still drive out at times for sure. It's not eliminated, but it's that time
Yeah.
I'm getting back. And you can give that back to your team. That's worth its weight,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been great. Like they're skipping the trip or 1-2 punching it, right? And it's
Love it.
it's it's the time saving the trips you don't go out to,
Yeah.
just as
I
much as the
mean,
ones you do go out to.
and time is it's so valuable to any business owner. I mean, we're spread so thin anyways, right? And even your sales staff, I mean, it's the same thing, and your operations, all of that applies. Uh, but time is the one thing that we can't get back, right?
Mm.
I mean, that's just pretty awesome. So, and I'm just going to dig a little bit more into this, right? So it sounds life changing and all that kind of stuff. And this is not an infomercial, by the way. For everyone listening, there's no ulterior motives on this other than thinking that this is such a cool product. Is it like super expensive?
No, no, we're talking about $5 a day per head at the most.
Okay.
Again,
Wow.
or cheaper. We work with a lot of mom and pops too, and I come from like I'm not. You don't forget where you come from, right? Like
Yeah.
I had a small company of 2 crews, and my partner had a landscape small company. We're like, we don't want this to be just for the big boys and girls, right? So we want to make this affordable. And I mean, all our pricing's right on the website. So like, we got nothing to hide. You don't need a decoder ring for our stuff. And in
Yeah.
fact, we have money back guarantees, and we don't lock people in. And like it's just how we operate. So no, it's very affordable. And yeah,
Super
just to
cool.
your point, this is not an infomercial. I want just to get
Yeah.
everyone thinking. Just
Yeah.
get thinking, start thinking about your business in some different ways. And if you
Hmm.
step away from here and take 1 or 2 nuggets, you're like, I'm gonna maybe look into this or that. Like maybe you hire someone in a lower cost area because of this. Great, just want you thinking differently. That's all.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I talk about all the time is this $1,000 machine sitting in your pocket, right? Put it to use for you and your staff. And it just makes sense to go this route, because if your competitors are doing this and you're not too, that's the other flip side of all of this, is that if your competitors are doing it and beating you, you're not even going to know what happened, honestly. You're going to wake up one day and be like, where did all of my sales go, you know, and it's probably your competitor using some sort of technology just like this right here. And it's really about the whole technology idea is that, you know, and I've been hammering on this for the past 6 months is that AI is out there, you know, now technology like this, we've got technology in our pocket for estimating that can speed up absolutely everything that we do. You've got to think beyond the notebook that you're working in. You've got to use technology to your
Yeah.
advantage.
And the other thing about technology is when we think about it, sometimes we're like, ugh, right? And I got to learn something else. I got to do this other dang thing. And we all have these, you know, software we've bought where it's like, this sucks. And I always make fun of my engineers. I'm like, you guys have soft hands. You ain't spend a day on a ladder like me, you know, baking in the sun. And so because I know that, because I've had a Nextel walkie-talkie in front of the Waffle House, you know, and working with my crews, I knew that all this technology, if I'm going to bring something to the market, has to be so easy to use, not just for my staff, but for my customers. And so if your team can send a text message, they can use it. We always affectionately say it's so easy my mama can use it, you know? So like, but, and one of my guys was flipping out the other day. He was like, James, I got a 90-year-old on the thing the other day. So like this stuff is, if you can click a button, you're good. And if you can send a text, you're good. Otherwise, like we know what engineers like to do. They like to over engineer stuff. So we don't allow that, you know, like we won't do it. Like 5 minutes of training and you're off to the races. This ain't some big change management thing for your whole company to do. I mean, that just makes me want to take a nap. So, you know, that's going to be our other piece. It's just, you got to keep it simple, y'all. Like the Nextel walkie-talkie, all I did was hit a button. And I got to talk to my team and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And we used the snot out of it. And so that's what we've been trying to replicate, but with, you know, cameras instead of microphones.
Love that. Love that. All right. So we're going to pause here, right? I love everything, love everything that we've talked about. And honestly, I think LiveSwitch is just the coolest thing ever in my mind, right? But we're going to pause here real quick before we head into our lightning round for a message from our sponsor, roofingsites.com. Since 2018, roofingsites.com has helped roofers double their sales by getting their marketing right using the 4R roofing marketing system. If you're a roofing company owner wanting to grow your business, be sure to go to roofingsites.com and sign up for a roofing marketing strategy session with me. All right, and we are back for the lightning round. We got one rule and one rule only for the lightning round, and it's to answer each of these questions in 1 minute or less. Are you ready, James?
Ready.
Awesome. Okay, number one. What is your favorite personal hack? This could be a book, could be a podcast, could be anything. Anything goes here because we are Roofer Growth Hacks.
When I look at my vehicle, I see a classroom. I don't listen to music on the way to my jobs. I listen to books or podcast. And you're already listening to a podcast right now, so you're a step ahead. But you need to view that, and your entire company needs to view that as training time. Because when you actually do get behind that wheel, you need to be putting good stuff between those ears and the ears of your team and get them leveling up. Education is everything when it comes to growing your business.
Love that. Love that. And I 100% agree with that. That's why I do the podcast. That's why I wrote the book. That's, you know, all of that stuff. So absolutely. All right. Number two, what is your favorite business hack? All right. This could be a book, podcast, again, anything goes here.
Network to cash. What do I mean? There's this little site called LinkedIn, and maybe you don't use it. You're leaving money on the table, or you're leaving great relationships on the table. All you need to do, and do this so you don't get blacklisted from LinkedIn. Yes, you can get blacklisted. You just go and you start hitting the connect button. No need to send love letters, but do 20 a day, every day, including the weekends. Connect into your industry, into your vendors, connect with everybody. And what'll end up happening, if you do 20 a day, you'll probably get one or two in the beginning. And then a few months from now, it'll be like almost every time, because they'll have like 150 mutual connections. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to change your life. Don't believe me, just do it for about 4 months and then report back.
Love that. Absolutely love that. And that's hard, right? And I know it because I've had to do it myself. Yeah, that's if I know for a fact myself, I don't use LinkedIn nearly as much as I should.
Well, I grow and scale businesses. You can either
Yeah,
believe me or watch me.
100% right. I mean, I wrote that one down here, so absolutely. All right, number third question. All right, what is the absolute best advice you've been given? And you get bonus points here if you let us know how you actually applied it.
Yeah. So I was on the way back from overseas, and back in the day, they had one central thing on the plane. So I'm definitely dating myself. And I watched a guy by the name of Jack Nicklaus, one of the best golfers ever. And they're interviewing him after he's won like 5, 6 awards. And they're like, Jack, you're the best golfer ever. He's like, no, I'm not. Like, come on, man. Yeah, you are. He's like, the only difference between me and the guy on Sunday is when I hit one into the woods, I just pop it right back out. The guy I'm playing against hits it into the woods. He thinks about it for the next 3 holes. So I always say you can't humiliate a humble man.
Hmm.
So just people are going to tell you no. People are going to swear at you. People are going to mistreat you as an owner. People aren't going to understand. Be humble.
Love that.
It is a superpower.
Super cool. Well, James, thank you so much for all of this. How can the Roofer Growth Hacks family get in touch with you? How can we support you, encourage you, and get LiveSwitch set up on our own roofing companies?
2 different ways. One, go to liveswitch.com, LiveSwitch.com, say book a demo and ask for James. Say, I want to talk to James because I love talking to business owners. All right. We'll connect that way. Or go to LinkedIn, find James Hatfield, connect. I'll connect with you. Message me. Would love to talk to anybody listening today.
Love that. Love that. Well, James, thank you so much, man, for coming on. This has been pretty cool. I love the whole idea of your product, and I didn't dig into this, and we're gonna dig in real quick before we jump off here. You said it's one of 4 companies earlier, right, that has this technology in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's 4 other companies that do this, and they are going to have no interest in roofers. One is called a little company called Google. Okay. Yep. Our co-founder helped pioneer this stuff 16 years ago, right alongside. Google has it. There's the company in China. They specialize in adult entertainment. So probably not going to hear about them either.
No.
And then there's another company called Vonage that does it. And just like us, we install this under the hood for different things. Like, we did the Super Bowl this year and last year. And if you go to MLB Ballpark and scan a QR code, we power that. So anybody who live video is just ridiculously hard. And it's just, that's what it is. So like even the largest companies in the world knock on our door and we power some of the biggest products on the planet. We're just happening to bring this to our roots. Like we're coming full circle. So this for me is the most exciting part of my company. Not even the Super Bowl, talking to home services folks, because that's where I came from. And that for me is like, pinch me, I'm having a great time.
So super cool. The Super Bowl, I mean, that's pretty cool right there. Jeez. Yeah. Well, thanks so much, James, for coming on. Really, really appreciate this. I'm super excited about LiveSwitch and really trying to figure out a way to integrate that into all of our product offerings as well.
Love it. Thanks for having me.
Well, how about that, roofers? Was that pretty awesome or what? Man, I am so excited about LiveSwitch, and honestly, my brain has been going on how we can get our own clients into this and how we can help our clients grow massively using this technology. If you're even thinking about this, I would highly recommend that you go to their website and look into it. At least try to see how you can implement that and bolt it on into your business. But I got to say that, I mean, it's probably one of the most innovative tools besides, like Roofle or Roofar or any of those types of tools. I think this is going to be able to change our industry here. And I mean, just thinking about the applications in sales, right? As the main driver, but thinking of how you can utilize it in operations, even HR. I mean, you don't even need it in operations or HR, because you could always jump on your phone and do it via FaceTime or Google Meet or something like that, right? So think about how you could use a technology like this, not necessarily having to use LiveSwitch, but it's just a mind shift change there on how you can utilize video inside of your business. The other big takeaways that I had were where he talked about classroom in your truck. I've always believed that. I listened to 52 audio books, every single year. I listen to them every single year, and not the same ones, obviously, but I got to say that I started doing this in 2018 and started listening to Audible books on the way to work and back from work. Now, I'm not like y'all, and I wasn't in my truck all the time, but I started doing this, and I started noticing that I was applying some of these principles that I was listening to into my business. And I love how he talked about if you also have your people listening to Audible books as they're driving around instead of just listening to music or I mean, shoot, you could get something free like podcasts, like what you're listening to right now. So I highly encourage any contractor as you're driving around to do the same thing. He also talked about that network to cash thing, right? Get on LinkedIn and just start doing simple 20 connections per day. It sounds really easy. The hard part is staying consistent about it, just like you do with dieting or exercise. Okay. And the last, loved how he talked about being humble. One of the books that I listened to was The Ideal Teammate by Patrick Lencioni. And in that book, he talks about the ideal teammate is humble, hungry, and smart. Humble is the first thing on that. So I love how James talked about that. Well, that's going to do it for another episode of Roofer Growth Hacks. I hope you enjoyed this episode and that you connect with James on LinkedIn. Go to LinkedIn and go look up James Hatfield with LiveSwitch. I also hope that you connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram or YouTube or wherever that you have found me. You can also check out our website at roofingsites.com. And while you're there, listen to other previous episodes. I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, roofingsites.com. Since 2018, roofingsites.com has helped roofers double their sales by getting their marketing right using the 4R roofing marketing system. If you're a roofing company owner wanting to grow your business, be sure to go to roofingsites.com and sign up with a marketing strategy session with me. Also, this past year, I published my book, The Ultimate Guide to Digital Marketing for Roofers. If you're a roofing company owner and you don't have this book in your hands, I will send it to you for free. Just go to go.roofingsites.com and I'll send you a free digital copy of my book. Well, roofers, join me next time when we connect with another great roofing entrepreneur and learn how they hack their growth. Until then, I'm Chris Hunter. Thanks and gig 'em.